Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to tackle about Module 7 of Quarter 2, Science 7. This is Sir Topper, your Science 7 teacher. Okay? Before we proceed, let us have this prayer. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Ama naming Diyos, pinupuri ka namin at pinasasalamatan sa bawat biyaya na iyong pinagkakaloob sa bawat isa. Salamat din sa pagkakataon na kami ay nagkita-kita upang makapagsimula muli ng aralin. Gabayan mo po kami sa aming pag-aaral, lalo na ngayon kami ay nagkikita-kita lamang sa harapan ng isang telepono at ng monitor ng computer. Bigyan mo ng matiwasay na kapaligiran ng bawat isa kung saan man kami naroroon ngayon upang, O Diyos, maintindihan at manawaan namin ang aming aralin. Abutin mo ng iyong mapagpalang kamay ang aming mga puso at isipan, lalo na sa sandaling kami ay nakikinig. Palaguin mo ang aming karunungan. Sawayin mo, Panginoon, ang anumang hadlang sa lalong ikatututo ng mga mag-aaral. Sa aming pagsisimula ng aralin, nawa o Diyos, ikaw ang siyang aming kasama. Ang iyong banal na Espiritu ang siyang magbibigay ng kapanatagan at kapayapaan sa bawat isa. Samahan mo kami mula sa simula hanggang sa matapos ang aming klase. Ito ang aming samot dalangin sa tanging pangalan ng iyong anak na si Jesus. Amen. Good morning, everyone. Okay? Before we proceed, what I need to know. Okay? Environment is a collection of living and non-living things. Mosses growing in rocks, garden snails gliding on fences, and fish swimming in bodies of water are just few examples of how living and non-living things interact. The living components of the environment are called organisms. The non-living components make up the physical environment of these organisms. In this lesson, you will discover more about ecosystems, the components that make them up, and the interactions that take place among and between them. We have this most essential learning competency, or the milk, for this module. That is, demonstrate an understanding of organisms interacting with each other and their environment, the biotic and abiotic components of an ecosystem. After going through this lesson, you are expected to: number 1, define abiotic and biotic components of ecosystem. Number 2, identify abiotic and biotic components of ecosystem. And lastly, number 3, cite the importance of abiotic and biotic components of an ecosystem. Before we proceed with the lesson, let us have this review quiz. What I know. Directions. Read each item carefully. Choose only the letter of the correct answer for each question and key in your answer in our class point up. And that class code is 95858. So ready? Let's have number 1. Which of the following refers to the living parts of the environment, such as humans, animals, and plants? Okay, time is up. The correct answer is the letter C. That was ecosystem. Number 2. Which of the following examples are completely non-living things? Okay, time is up. And that was letter C. Oxygen, rock, sunlight, water. Number 3. From the given choices inside the box, answer this. Which factors are purely abiotic? Okay, time is up. And the correct answer is letter A. 1 and 2 only. The same choices inside the box. The question for number 4 is, which statement is not true? about the choices in the box. Okay, time is up. It is letter B. 2 and 3 include all abiotic factors. Let's have number 5. Which of the following circumstances will not illustrate an ecosystem? Okay, time is up. It is letter A, an empty aquarium. Number 6. In which place do biotic and abiotic factors interact? That was correct. It is letter A, ecosystem. Number 7. The following are considered biotic factors except... Time is up. It's letter C. That was sunlight. Number 8. Which of the following is another term that refers to non-living things? Very good. That is letter B, a biotic factor. How will you classify certain factors such as temperature, light, air, and soil? Very good. That is letter A, abiotic. Number 10. Which of the following choices below are abiotic factors? Very good. Let's have it as letter B, oxygen, soil, and sunlight. 11. Which of the following statements is true? Correct. Letter A. All living things are biotic factors. Number 12. All of the items below are abiotic except... That was correct. A. Grass. 13. One of the following statements describes biotic factors correctly. Which set of factors are it? Congratulations, you're correct. It is letter A, living things in an environment. Number 14, using the picture, based on the given figure rather, which of the following statements narrate the role of plants correctly? Go. And that was correct. It's letter D. Plants get energy from the sun and release oxygen needed by animals. Number 15, last question. In below illustration, what do you think will happen to plants and animals if the sun is not present? Is it the plants will die and it will cause lack of oxygen in their environment? The plants and animals will die because the plants have no source of energy in making their food that serve as a food for the animals too. Or the plants will die but animals will continue to live because animals and plants are not dependent on each other. Okay, time is up. Number 15, the correct answer is letter A. 1 and 2 only. The plants will die, and it will cause lack of oxygen in our environment, and the plants and animals will die because the plants have no source of energy in making their food that serve as food for the animals too. Okay, congratulations for those who got it right. Let's proceed. This lesson is all about biotic and abiotic components of ecosystems. What's in? In your previous lessons, you have been introduced to the concept of levels of organizations, plant and animal cells, and reproduction. This lesson will introduce you to habitat of organisms and components of an ecosystem. So before we proceed with the main lesson, let's have this activity. Part 1. Study the pictures below. Identify the place or area where each of the organisms in column A can survive. Place the letter or letters corresponding to your answer using our class point app. Choose all possible answers. So let's see. For number 1, these are group of mushrooms. What would be its area where they live? Is it A, B, C, or D? Number 2, polar bears. Number 3, crab. And number 4, monkeys. What do you think? Okay, that was correct. For number 1, we have letter C. For number 2, we have letter D. Number 3, we have letter B. And number 4, we have letter A. So let's see. So that was correct. C, D, B, A. Let's move on. So you are given a guide questions regarding the activity part 1. What is the place where living organisms live and survive called? Answer is habitat is the place where organisms such as plant, animal, or other organism are living and survive. Number 2 question. Why do different animals live in different places? Because they have different needs and functions. Very good. Let's have part 2. Study the picture below. And here are the questions. Activity 2. What makes me grow? What do you think are the non-living things needed by this plant in order to grow? That was the basic. Water, soil, and sunlight. How about what conditions are needed by the plant to grow healthy? The plants need enough sunlight, proper temperature, good moisture, air, enough water, and nutrients in order to grow healthy. How about this last question? Are plants considered living organisms? Why? Yes, plants are living organisms because they're able to grow, adapt the environment, and reproduce like human and animals. Very good. Let's proceed with question or activity number 3, entitled Observing Living and Non-Living Things in a Quadrant. Using the box here, let us count how many stars that represents the paragrass. Paragrass, guys, is a kind of grass related to Carabao grass. Okay, we have 13. How about bug? 3. Ant, 6. Earthworm, 5. Okay, let's move on with the next slide. So use the given illustration as your guide to complete the table and answer the following questions on a separate sheet of paper. List down identify living organisms found in an illustration. Make a table similar to one given below in a separate sheet of paper. Okay, what are those organisms? We have paragraphs. Number of that population, 13. That was correct. Next is bug. How many bugs do we have there? We are given by 3. How about ant? They are 6. And we have the earthworm with 5 members. Okay, so that was the answer for these questions. Let's move on with question number 4. Based on your table, answer the following questions. What living organisms in the illustration? The living organisms are paragrass, bugs, ant, and earthworm. Number 2. What organism has the most number? And that was paragrass. How about what organism has the least number? That was bugs. Okay, for number 5, observe the soil within the quadrant. Let's go back. Okay, recall. For question number 4, how will you describe the color of the soil? Our answer must be, the soil has dark brown or black color. Does the color or type of soil in a quadrant affect the number of plants and animals, insects living in that area? Yes, because dark brown or black color indicates that the soil has a high organic matter content, which helps the plants to grow healthy and yields more products. If more plants will grow, more numbers of insects will stay and grow in a certain area. What non-living things affect the number of organisms living in a certain place? The amount of sunlight. It is because the area is surrounded by all or by tall trees. Okay, so that's it. Let's have the lesson proper. What is it? Ecosystems are made up of living things, and they're called biotic components. And non-living things, they're called abiotic components. An ecosystem may contain many habitats, where organisms obtain their foods, water, shelter, and other things in order to live, grow, and reproduce. Biotic components are the living parts of an ecosystem. The term biotic is defined or formed by the combination of two terms, and that is bio, meaning life, and "ike," meaning like. The term means life-like, and is related to all the living entities present in an ecosystem. The presence of biotic components and their biological byproducts affect the composition of an ecosystem. Biotic resources include all living organisms, from animals and humans to plants, fungi, and bacteria. So let's have this. Biotic factors comprising the ecosystem include: number one, humans; number two, animals, that can be dogs, cats, lions, monkeys, bears, etc. We have also insects, composed of flies, mosquitoes, bugs, ants, and etc. We have birds. We have different kind of birds. Plants. We have different kind of plants. Sample, trees, flowers, and grasses. Also worms, bacteria, and viruses. The interactions between various biotic factors are necessary for the survival and reproduction of each species. Okay, let's move on with abiotic components. Abiotic components are the non-living parts of the ecosystem. The non-living parts. The term abiotic refers to the non-living entities in the ecosystem. These are sunlight, water, land, temperature. Let's see. Other abiotic factors comprising the ecosystem may include climate, humidity, precipitation, wind, altitude, type of soil, light, water, or even we have oxygen or carbon dioxide. Abiotic factors are the non-living physical and chemical factors that influence an ecosystem. We need abiotic components for biotic components. We need to interact with each other. Okay? The living things and the non-living things must interact with each other in order for their survival. What's more, try to enhance your knowledge on the interdependence among biotic and abiotic components within an ecosystem. Complete the table below by giving there 3 examples of biotic and prebiotic components of each ecosystem. Key in our class point up. So, the ecosystem are forest, ocean, river, fish pond, vegetable garden. For the second column, we have abiotic components, composition, and the biotic components composition. Okay, so let's see. For ecosystem, forest, we have soil, rocks, water. Biotic for that can be trees, monkey, birds. So you may have your own answer. Okay, it's up to you. Ocean, we have water, nutrients, sunlight. Biotic, shark, fish, seaweeds, crabs. So many components in a biotic. River, abiotic, water, rock, sunlight. And for biotic, again, it may have different answers from you. For this, we have crabs, shrimps, ferns. Fish pond, soil, water, sunlight. We can have mudfish, frog, crabs. Again, we can have tilapia, we can bangus, and so on and so forth. For the vegetable garden, abiotic, we have soil, nutrients, sunlight. Biotic, vegetables, insects, and grass. Okay, let's move on. We are given guide questions here. Are the living things found in one ecosystem the same with what you found in other ecosystem? Okay, let's see. Yes, there is some living organisms found in one ecosystem the same with other ecosystem. For example, crabs found in the ocean, river, and ponds. What can be found in ecosystem? Both living and non-living things found in an ecosystem. Can you consider a flower pot as an ecosystem? Why? Yes, because it consists both living, biotic, and non-living, abiotic. Okay? What I have learned. Directions below are metacognition starters, which you will copy and complete on the same separate sheet of paper. You can use the words in the box. Items 2 to 4 need some explanation to show. Okay? For this, let's have it. I choose the word biotic component. This word refers to all living biotic things found in an ecosystem. It is different from a biotic component because it refers to all non-living things found in an ecosystem, and that was correct. In addition, I learned that biotic components are dependent on abiotic components in order to survive. So we need the interaction between them. And finally, the most important learning for me is about biotic component and biotic component interact with each other. Remember that always. Okay, so this is college making activity, so it's up to you. So here are the materials, procedures that will serve as your assignment. And this is the question and the rubric or the guidelines, the criteria rather. We have the organization, selected photos, images, relevance, content. Okay, let's have the assessment for this module, part 1 of module 7. Okay. Read each item carefully. Choose only the letter of the correct answer for each question. Key in your answer in our class point up. Class code 95858. Okay, number 1. What do you call the living organisms that inhabit an environment? Okay, that was correct. Letter C, biotic factors. Which of the following choices are abiotic factors? Very good. That was correct. Oxygen, soil, and sunlight. That is letter B. Which of the following statements is true? That is correct. Letter A. All living things are biotic factors. 4. All of the items below are abiotic except. That was correct. Letter A. Grasses. Very good. You follow our discussion. So from the box, which factor are purely biotic? Very good. Letter A. 1 and 2 only. Number 6. Which statement is true about the choices in the box? Very good. Letter D. 1, 2, 3, and 4 contains biotic and abiotic factors. 7. Which of the following conditions is not an ecosystem? Very good. That's letter A. An empty aquarium. For number 8, outdoor plants need water and sunlight in order to grow. Which statements will distinguish plants from water and sunlight correctly? Very good. 1 and 2 only. Letter A. What do you call the living parts of the environment such as humans, animals, and plants? Very good. They're called biotic factors. Letter C. Which place do biotic and abiotic factors interact? Very well said. It is letter A. Ecosystem. Okay. If you don't have any question with this lesson, this is Sir Topper at your service. Thank you and good morning.